Hey, welcome to Web3 Weekly with your host, Blockstar Technology.
Let's go.
Hey.
All right.
Hey, mate.
Cool. So, everyone, welcome to episode 65 of Blockstars Web3 Weekly. So, today we're going to talk about Web3 marketing and community building. So, for that, we have our prestigious guest, Ruthie, from the amazing Surgeons Group community. And on my side, I have Charlie here with me as well, another
Hey,
legend.
guys.
So, Ruthie, I'm going to sort of pass you the mic
Yeah.
to sort of talk about surgeons, what surgeon stands for, and
Yeah.
a little bit of a how did you start surgeons, and then we can go into the exciting Web3 and community building side of things.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, so the Genesis journey of Surgeons, I landed back from America on a stint from the startup that I was working at before, and my friend hooked me into Web3. And then I was taken deep into the side of NFTs as well. After a couple of months of trading there, the bear market kicked in. And then that's when I was like, okay, well, I've got a
Good
deep
time.
passion for this space. Yeah. Well, I started a community at the end of the bull market. And then the community who was thriving and enjoying trading and bonding over like understanding the market and the opportunities was soon being disheartened and was very upset with the market conditions and then losing, I guess, passion for the space they were in just because of the constant black swans and bad news that was happening in 2022, right? Early 2022. And then so we came together and we decided to see if we could come into it in a professional sense. Like, oh, there's a lot of these projects, protocols, companies that are moving in and trying to build within Web3. Maybe there is something that we can do to get involved there. Because a lot of us had an early or like advanced professional background in Web2, right? Whether it was like a graduate or like a few years in the industry, et cetera, and just wanted to see how
Yeah.
to translate things into Web3. So that's where we pivoted into Surgeons, which started off as a builders hub and is now a Web3 accelerator that focuses on both entrepreneurs and the new companies that are entering the space and helping them to grow and explore things here. So that's our core ethos, which is, if you look at the bottom right of the Surgeons logo, there's that Chinese character that stands for like rise or ascension. So it's a collective that grows, builds, explores, learns together, and tries to be value additive for companies and individuals. So that's Surgeons in a nutshell, man.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's like so cool. And before I forget, obviously, happy 21st, birthday again. I mean, granted,
Already taking a crack at me, everyone. I'm not 21.
I want to start at the bang,
I'm
mate.
just waiting for him to talk about your arms, Ruthie.
Yeah, oh, that's later on. Don't you know, later on. Nah. Seriously, what I think, with with what you guys are doing, Ruthie, I know that you have a like amazing team behind you, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I think when it comes to a community, a company, or group of people, normally it's only one or two or maybe very handful of people, right,
Yeah.
who's in front, really, right? But there's an army of people behind them supporting the network and pushing hard and keeping that dream alive, right? And without those team members, obviously, with a company or a community or whatever it is, it's not sustainable,
Yeah.
right? So I would like to sort of give some flowers to the team behind you.
Yeah.
Not behind, I think the team who's with you,
Yeah.
right? Um, and we had some experience of working with the team, and we are still experiencing that. And the dedication that they have and the care factor they bring in is like freaking unparalleled. And that's what transcends to everything what we do. And I know that is same thing with Blockstar. So I just would like to sort of pass it on to you and sort of talk about I don't think it's a bad thing to talk about their team, and boast about your team. I think it's important.
Yeah. So initially starting Surgeons with Vin, or Esteemed as he's known online,
Yeah.
who's a best mate from university. And
Yeah.
he's like the yin and yang with me. He's my co-founder, and he handles a lot of maybe the BD and a lot of the behind the scenes stuff with ops as well. Mia, who's the director of community and has got this muscle and natural ability to just understand how to serve community best, build it, grow it, connect with it, and build that strong, empowering ecosystem for them. And then Joni as well, who's amazing with just helping people understand the Web3 marketing, the markets, and then also
Yep.
the legal side too, who's helping with the business setups, etc. But then again, we have that broader team too. So the list of people that work with us on Surgeons Labs are the clients that we have. People helping run the operations of the community and marketing, and all of these individuals hired from the community as well, right? Starting in 2020.
Yeah.
We slowly onboard and curate our community based on like who our ideal persona is, the values that we have, and what we're trying to serve. And then over time, we just become so close with people from all around the globe, whether they're in the EU, Asia, Americas, etc., Africas, and then we just bring them all into this like amazing kick-ass hub and high-performing teams to work with companies. So yeah, this is maybe 1% of this is me. I just sit around, be lazy, sleep all day, whatever.
Oh, makes two of us, mate. Makes two of us.
So everyone else putting in like solid hard work into building this. So I would say Surgeons is a product of everyone involved, the community, the team, the partners, etc. It's something that's community centric, I'd say. Yeah.
I mean, like, one thing that impressed me about Surgeons is the far outreach, right?
Mm,
Like with Blockstars, we got to do outreach like mainly in the Web3 side of the
yeah.
business, like through I would say like it's through Surgeons, right? We touch base. I think apart from that, we had like a couple of other outreaches, but what
Yeah.
we did what we received through Surgeons is like it's unreal. So the support and that really impressed me what you built,
Mm,
not just time zones in Australia, but you brought in like from, like you said, from Africa, from
mm.
US, Europe, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So
I feel as
amazing.
if one of the synergies that we have a lot with companies as well that might be not so deep in the trenches of like the community side, but in the corporate building,
Yeah.
industry side, is like this ability to help break us into that field, but then them into our field and share a lot of resources and opportunities too. So I flowers to Blockstars as well for killing it and providing opportunities for us as well, man.
Right. It doesn't happen just like waking up in the morning type of deal, right? And
Yeah.
love your work ethic. I love the work ethic of Surgeons,
Mm-mm.
and it's 100% it shows. So cool.
And with that one, because on the work ethic, I
Hmm.
just want to bring it back a bit of Ruthie. I'm guessing that was sort of your first bear market coming in, but I guess Vin had been around maybe a bit longer.
Mm.
How did you find that transition? Because you see people like the bull market's going well, you're getting the dopamine, there's people adding in, and there's all this excitement, everyone's making money.
Crazy.
But when that time slows down, like project wise, business wise, you see a lot of people jump out, like even VC wise, for
Mm.
instance. How did you guys find that transition? Because I've noticed like we're coming back into good times, but you guys have been going throughout the bear market, which,
Yeah.
what, 2 years now or so.
Yeah.
And now you're really actually starting to grow that Surgeons community. But what was that feeling for you of coming into that first bear market and people are leaving and black swans are happening
Mm.
and
I
Black
would
swans in
say
boxing.
black swans are crazy. um, it was just like every single day you would wake up and then an article will come out and you're like, oh my God, that explains this horrific dip. But yeah, I mean, throughout the bear, especially when it started to kick in and a few months in, I feel as if people from the start were just trying to accept this change in environment and conditions that we're in. But then after a few more months of that, everyone is starting to question the reasoning, the reason to continue to participate in Web3, whether it's right for them, and people start to become lost and disoriented from the reality that they formed before. Like I entered, I was dabbling around in crypto for a while before that, but never like an active participant, right? And so I became an active participant throughout the bull, but then the bear hit. That was all I knew within the active side. So I had to shift my entire perspective, acceptance of the conditions that we're in, and like set my vision and the team's like mindset for the long term and sustainability and longevity. Because especially with discussions with Joni, who's got amazing long-term foresight, we'd have to be grounded with accepting that this could last for more than like 2 years, right? And so with that, it took us a long time to accept that and to then like structure and optimize everything around the business and community for that, and to shift the community's mindsets towards that as well. Man, throughout that like entire 2 years period, we lost like members, right? A lot of our core members, we'd see them leave. And it would be upsetting as well. Maybe a lot of business partners, whatever, we won't hear from them again. But then the beautiful thing as well is that throughout those 2 years, the people that persisted, if done tactfully, you could position yourself well. You know, you spend time networking, building out, you know, capabilities, like learning, understanding more. And then all of a sudden, as we're ramping like market activity back and everyone is starting to come back, you know, both participants and then companies too, you start to capture all these opportunities for the company and for the network, which was like unparalleled to before. That being said, obviously, like each to their own. You know, for some people, it was right to leave the market. Like maybe they had better opportunities to persevere in Web2, and I could have said that at any point in that bear market, I could have left. Yeah. Like things maybe got so hard at some points, I questioned everything. Like, is this the right thing for me? Is this the right thing for my personal goals? You know, lifestyle. What's happening here? No income. Like,
yeah.
But
that's then, crazy, right?
Yeah, crazy. But one of the cool things about being a founder, which you know, some people might say it's also a kind of rough thing, is like there's a lot of pride on the line. Like I've got this community that I built, a family. Like I don't want to just abandon them and give up. And in essence, I feel like I can't ever give up. I'm locked in. Like giving up is just like I'm so scared of that because of all the people that I think, you know, are looking to be led by the Surgeons brand, the team, love the community, thriving in there. And if I leave, like what happens, right? And so I've accepted that I'm fully committed. So throughout whatever conditions, like I'm just going to try and continue to persevere until like it's impossible and just do my best. So
I mean, like you're not trying, mate. You know, you're not trying. You're doing, right? You are doing. Because I think the trying is like, you know, you always just like, you know, try to pick up the pen. You know, I mean, like you pick the pen up or you don't. You know, you can't try to pick the pen up. So same thing like with you, you know, you're not trying. You're really doing, and it's showing as well. And you're growing quite a few people around you. You know, like few interns now, like have come through the Surgeons brand. Now they are prominent players in the community, right?
Yeah. So I guess like you look at it in real world aspects of economies, like, you know, they say a guy that I learned a lot from, an older guy, was the market has 10-year cycles, and in the real world you have 10-year, 12-year cycles. We're extending that now in the real world. But I always remember what he said about that. And then you look at Web3 and we're in 4-year cycles.
Yes.
So you actually get to learn a lot of life lessons a lot quicker, like rather than having to go through that 10 years. And Cozzy, you're in the .com
exactly.
bubble, like that 10-year cycle.
Yeah.
Like,
Cozzy, how is that possible? You look 21 as well, man.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you.
He's been coding since he was like 1 year old.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a great point. Yeah.
And then also with that is like with the markets, we have these big run-ups. There's a lot of hype. Everything's good on the news. A lot of people come in. But I find like every cycle, you have a big run-up, but then maybe 60, 80% of the people leave. But you get that true 20% of new people that have come in along that market run, and they stay here for reasons that aren't just money or hype. They come in for decentralization. We've got NFTs art, NFT gaming's coming big this year. So they're finally coming into real games rather than I remember looking at Sandbox when that came out, and there was no game platform at the time, and I'm like, oh, what's this pixel stuff? I don't want this. I want like a proper game. But we're coming out with some really cool stuff at the moment, and I can see that
Yeah.
community growing in a diverse
100%,
angle.
right? Maybe I think it's time for us to look at like our sandbox land. We have to build something in there now. I think it's time, maybe.
We've got to check on Bridget, our sheep, Cosy.
Yeah.
We've got
The
the
wolf
wolf
game.
game.
So, I mean, so just from that, Ruthie, like what is we just want to talk about like with from the marketing. So Blockstars, we are like we are tech. So tech through and through, we can talk tech until the black swans leave, right?
Yeah.
But but when it comes to marketing, I would say like we would shy away big time, and we lean on people like surgeons, who are experts at it. So from your point of view, what is that looks like from Web 2 to Web 3?
I feel as if one of the key differences that people continue to drill on is the introduction of like ownable assets on chain, and then using that as incentives as well. I feel as if the acquisition styles of users and such in Web 2 have been broadly like organic marketing or paid marketing on platforms and creators, etc. But then in Web3, you're starting to see people experiment with the chain and drive around with different like perspectives, like using the chain for in-game assets that can be claimable, like tokens that can be used that might have governance or utility in like a game, etc. Like NFTs that serve as ecosystem passes and all these different things. And I feel as if what Web3 marketing is all about is trying to capture a broad net of users from different sources of Web3 communities, channels, and also like other platforms in this space, and then doing your best to filter them down and encourage education and interest so that they claim these incentives and they best use it in like whatever the project is in the ecosystem. So that's like a lot of what we do as well. And when you see Web3 games too, I mean, we were just talking about it with pixels airdrops and all these different things. That's a beautiful thing about like Web3 is that introduction of incentives to reward players for their activity, their support, their co-creation, their co-marketing and everything, their advocacy, right? Which I think in Web2 brands have done that through areas like loyalty programs and cards, right? Like every 10 coffee you get a free coffee. But now we're starting to see more exciting digital native ways of doing it. And the younger generations and older generations are enjoying it a lot when you see them embark in these ecosystems and fascinate over airdrops and claims and these fun NFTs that they can get. But I would say the next big challenge, and you were just discussing it there, is like games and products are evolving. And now the question is, how do we streamline user experience so that we can bring these incentives and make it sense for like a Web 2 audience as well? Because games don't just want to play around with like a Web 3 audience that's like financially driven, but also a Web 2 audience that's game and product driven as well. So, but yeah, that's like I see the key differences is like the opportunities that blockchain incentives open up for us.
I think it's with the gaming side of things. I think the gaming what it was before. I think it's a new type of new type of in what you call gameplay. Maybe not as before. It's like do you think like it's transforming what is gameplay is like into a new new version of gameplay like. Before it was like, oh, I'm playing the game for fun. Okay, now it's fun and something else now. You know what I mean? So,
Mum, I don't need to go to school. I'm making $500.
Exactly. Like so like we had like fun games, and then we had the e-games, and then esports, and now this is like a whole another aspect. So in a market like that. How do you market like because people are still stuck in, some people are like so hardcore Web2 gamers.
I mean, even when it's like talking about casual gamers or like esports gamers, etc. I think when we were talking about the financial incentives in the last cycle, we saw that being played into too hard. which led to unsustainable like token economies and everyone just drying out instantly because the player base was majorly there just for like token incentives, and then you don't really have any true players that actually have uses for the tokens. So I think the focus of the cycle, and you see with these like innovative and more like higher fidelity builds coming out, is like to make sure that we take learnings from the last cycle and then implement it in this cycle. Be patient with token economies. There's a right time to launch it. There's a great way to design it. Like great advisors and companies out there to bring in to help with that. And then I think in this cycle to next cycle, it's all about now that like broader Web2 gamer onboarding, so that your gamer base isn't like completely dominated by financially driven people for sure. Cause
Yeah.
No, there's people out there saying, I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna play, and hey mom, like I made $500, haha, like ooh. But then like if 90% of the players are doing that, there's something wrong there.
Yeah. And also, it's a strange thing, isn't it? Like, I'm wondering how it'll play out. Is like if I go buy a piece of art, I'm not going to get angry if the artist goes and makes more prints, or like it doesn't go up by 100% within a year. And the same thing with games. If I go spend $80 on a PlayStation game and I play it, and then like with Call of Duties, there's a recycle on games, which I'm interested in what you think about this, Rufy. Is there's with games people switch from game to game all the time. Like maybe a good game you'd get like maybe 2-3 years out of it in say Web2 PlayStation world. But as soon as you put like NFTs and tokenized assets, people react differently. Like if my Call of Duty goes to an old version and a new one gets released, like I don't go complain to Call of Duty. But in Web3, when there's assets and economies and money involved, people do
Passionate,
think
right?
different.
Yeah.
They get more passenger. It's just a different aspect. It's more like people take it as an investment rather than fun. What do you think about that, man?
I think that's where the interoperability becomes key between gaming like ecosystems or titles, like whether you go from the same line of game titles and just newer ones, like allowing for assets to port over from one game to another, or whether you have a series of game titles in one studio, allowing like people to have one asset in a game be repurposed and used in another game as well. I think that interoperability enabled by blockchain is one of the things that a lot of game companies are pushing as a narrative. Obviously, able to be done in Web2, but the ability to be doing it in Web3 is a far more transparent, enabled by blockchain, which you can go in and audit yourself. I mean, there's this company called Corpo that we worked with recently that have two titles, right? Like a Pokemon-like creature catcher game called Animate, and then another one called Citizen Conflict, which is a shooter. And with the assets that you collect in one game and the weapons, you can actually there's ways to like port that over and use it in your other games, so that your like character progress and your progression in the overall studio like game titles actually carry value across all the different game titles as well. Plus, then you can also have your player profile or your progress and assets, and if you need to sell that off or like rent your weapons out to people and lend it off, you can do that too as well. But there's consequences that all has as well in terms of like gamer experience to everyone else, like fairness of play, like exploitations, etc. I mean, like if someone was able to like for example in RuneScape, someone was able to just like buy a bunch of like god swords and stuff from other people and like just make a bunch of money off it, and the asset price just rises incredibly, a lot of people are just going to not find the game enjoyable as well, right? That's where the token economy comes into make sense.
So I guess like when you come to Web3 marketing, right, it's not just okay, let's onboard users per se. I think there's a bit of nuances has to be built, and I guess that when you come to in-app, I don't want to call it in-game, but in-app, whether it's DeFi, whether it's Web3 gaming, whether whatever that is, it's an NFT, I don't know, NFT marketplace or whatever that is, right? There's a bit of I think that all that marketing I think has to be tied in with the almost a token like economies as well, right? What is built in, and the community building. So if like not if like from your point of view, Ruthie,
Mm,
what does it look like from when you're doing looking at a um, marketing activity for Web3 gaming
mm,
against a marketing activity for something else, like
mm.
say like I don't know, NFT trading platform, for example. I think understanding that user behavior and how that economy works, what type of things do you take on board when you start advising or working
Mm.
with these types of companies? What do you need from them for you
Yeah.
guys to do your execution?
Like often when we start our marketing plans with different clients, we take the first step to really figure out who that persona that they're trying to serve is, with whether it's their like platform, the products, the assets that they're trying to introduce. Their persona might change at different points of their roadmap as well. Like with a specific
Mm.
product release, that might be focused at NFT collectors or token collectors, right? Like later on, they might be focused on hyper casual gamers or like competitive gamers, and then like it continues to evolve. So trying to figure out who that persona is that first like bit that we do together, and then trying to make sure that the user experience and the ecosystem is like designed to facilitate these people to push them down a healthy funnel. Like one of the things that we always do is we map out a funnel together, right? Like what does this ideal user journey look like from start to finish, from first having
Mm.
experienced a brand on social pages to then funneling into maybe a community funnel and being educated and providing like interactive experiences that are not overwhelming but still progress these people to understand more and feel more acclimation with the brand. And then like finally putting them towards a point of conversion, whether that be like putting them into a game and then continuously using it, or like an NFC marketplace, right, and using that
Yeah.
as a sole trading place.
Mm.
So that's the key. Like when we're doing our planning together, we want to figure that out. Otherwise, we go into a game where we don't understand who we're trying to get, how to serve them, and what the actual plan is to get them down into the specific end goal for these users, and like actually measure that. Because
Mm.
without that, we're just like shooting from our hip and running into the
That's
cowboy
it.
town with no idea what we're doing.
100%, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like we've seen quite a few brands, like Web2 brands, sort of onboarding right with the Web3
Mm.
ecosystem,
Dipping
but
their toes.
yeah, tipping their toes, but they're going to the um traditional routes, right? Okay, let's put ads. I mean, I read somewhere that if you not read somewhere, I know exactly where I read. It's on X, and then you sent me that post as well. Now they don't call tweets, right? They call them posts.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I see a NFT crypto platform advertised as an advert, I stay away. I never touch it. Never touch it. It's more common
it's
now,
true.
but like
It's
even
true.
even years ago, if it's a paid advert with
Yeah.
crypto, stay away from it. Like I
I
think
tell
the
you
only
what, that has been like, and the reason, like that paid ad method, and it's interesting that everyone knows this in Web3, right? All the
Yeah.
buyers, all the builders, everyone, like they see an ad, red flag, even if it's a quality project trying to come into the market, red flag. And I think that's because it's just been bastardized as a like a marketing channel by many scam companies, celebrities, and all these different things. Plus, marketing in Web3 is like purely like very community centric, right? And then
Hmm.
using paid ads is seen as inorganic as opposed to winning the hearts and serving the hearts of community, using community to grow your like product and ecosystem. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, people see ads completely undermines the integrity of that company in these people's minds, but then they see like maybe like KOLs and people organically creating content about something, and they see that and they're like, yeah, that's the ecosystem I need to get into. That's the product that I want to use. That's the product I want to buy because there's
Hmm.
respected or like trustworthy people pushing it as opposed to paid ads. But yeah, that's a good point. Last week I was having a discussion about that with a client who came to us and was like, we want more numbers. Let's do paid ads. And then my marketer was like, no, 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 no. That's the last thing you want to do here. At the moment, like let's avoid that. Maybe we can
Yeah.
use different forms of paid ads in the future.
Hmm.
Maybe on YouTube to promote game product, maybe on, I think using paid ads to promote the actual product that they're building is fine at specific points
Yes.
of the roadmap. But to use paid ads to promote tokens, NFTs, assets, that's not great, right?
Great. Yeah.
And I think there was the tweet.
Yes,
I
the
just call
tweet.
it
Yeah.
tweet that you're talking about, because
Yes.
there was a guy actually on X ran like a
Like a bit of
test
a yeah.
where he clicked on like 100 different Twitter adverts for crypto, and like what was it, like 98 of them were wallet drainers and
Yeah.
honeypots, and two of them were just dead projects.
Dead projects. Yeah.
Insane.
So, it's just crazy, right? And so in a place like this, right, where traditional companies coming in and and trying to do that now, and we are saying, okay, look, like people like yourself saying, okay, look, this is a bad move, it doesn't work like this at the moment, right? But now we know when the the bull markets get a little bit crazy, we're going to get people who can spell ETH or who can spell BTC want to get in, all right, on the act, right? But for them, they would not understand the
Yeah.
difference, like the culture of Web3,
Yeah.
right? So do you think in that case, like, would these things like, oh, putting ads or things like that, would that be a normal thing? Or do you think like still it's a thing that you guys would advise, like, okay, look, we don't want to go down that route?
Yeah, I don't think we would ever really place advertisements on like NFTs and token sales, just because of the optics of that. Maybe market changes, and I'll always remain open-minded with my stance and see how people react to that. But I feel as if advertisements about the actual platform product for users to use because it's value additive is fine. Like that's beautiful, right? Like people that can spell ETH and NFT are coming in. They're like, oh, where do I trade my first NFT, right? And then they have to see an NFT marketplace like promoting their actual product to them, and it's safe. That's fine. I'm like, happy with that. Or like a protective wallet solution, right? Wallet security solution using advertisements to grow their user growth. Like that's fine as well. But to sell like these digital assets or like financial products to people through like Twitter ads and stuff, I'm not too keen on that.
I can just feel that you're cringing. Like, I can see, like,
not even cringing. It's like fear. Like I can imagine if I did that, just see like the amount of credibility that's lost for a client's brand. Perhaps. I mean, look, there's also different personas that people target because a company might have a specific reason to target these newcomers. Maybe then it's justified, but
but no.
Ruthie, and with that, I guess like a big one, but not as bad as like paid ads, but can also sort of be dangerous on that one is the influencers, the KOLs in our space. But also there's like for you guys, there's a vetting process of these KOLs as well as a vetting process of the project itself. How do you guys navigate that at Surgents?
Yeah, we're very selective with both ends. Like as a function of Surgents Labs, we don't have that many clients because we feel as if overextension will mean like sacrifice of quality of work. So we work with maybe 4 to 5 at any point in time. And so we have this ability to like select our clients pretty relentlessly and just make sure that we pick those that we really want to align our brand with. Because brand is really expensive in the sense that we've built brand for over 2 years, and the last thing we would want to do is just risk all that brand building that we've done. So very careful with the companies that we work with, and then the creators that we align with too as well. Like you spend more time in the space, you're able to differentiate between quality KOLs and then people who are purely just shilling at the expense of their audience. And then you can start to align yourselves closely and partner up with these quality KOLs that you want to work with on these projects that you bring in. So yeah, I mean, we collaborate. There's like these specific KOL agencies that do this really well, vetting process, alignment, etc. And we work with them closely to find out good batches of KOLs that we can work with. So that's how we navigate that. But yeah, there's a serious problem that will arise even more in the bull market, where people
Yeah.
find very opportunistic, right?
Hmm.
To become these influencers that shill coins and do everything to make their bags at the expense of their audience.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah.
Hey,
Which on-chain data can prove some of that, some of the times.
that's
But
right.
just for everyone listening, and there may be some Web 2 people out there that have no idea, or even
I don't
some
have an
Web
idea.
3 people. Could
Yeah.
you just explain what KOL stands for, please? Real quick?
Yeah, key opinion leaders, or maybe some people call them thought leaders. People maybe use it a bit too broadly across like content creators. In Web3, people, when people say KOLs, they probably are referring to either content creators, influencers, founders, etc. But normally a term attached to more reputable individuals in the space. That's what I would say. And these people are often out there putting out insightful pieces of content on whatever niche they're pigeonholed in, gaming, tokens, DeFi, whatever it is, and
Hmm.
trying to provide like value additive content, etc., to their audience.
Yeah,
100%.
awesome explanation, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was trying to remember, like, what's the difference between like influencers and calls? When did calls all? I think I have a feeling like about
Crypto, Cozzy, we've got to bloody hyphenate everything.
yeah, but you know what I mean. I only came across calls maybe a month and a half ago. Like calls, I'm seeing everyone like calls. I'm like, who are these calls? What are those space? And then yeah, I
Calling.
wonder how. Yeah, how did it all start? Like when did you start using call in your vocabulary?
Do you mean like callers, as in CA?
Yeah,
KOLs.
KOL.
Yeah, KOLs. Yeah.
Because he calls
Oh,
them
Coles. Oh,
Coles,
Coles.
Coles and Woolies, I would say.
No,
Next thing is Woolies.
at my old company, there was, I mean, KOLs is widely known, but like at my old company, my CEO hated 3-letter acronyms, right? Because everyone in the company would say this and that
Yeah.
and all these acronyms. And then he made this 3-letter acronym. It was like, TLAs are banned. And everyone's like, what's a TLA? What's a TLA? It's like, oh, isn't that annoying? 3-letter acronyms. That's what it means. Don't speak TLAs in my company.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. So, next thing I want to talk about is I just want to ask a question about, um, when you, pick your team.
Hmm.
What are your team or your key people? What are the things that you look out for?
Hmm. When I assemble a team for a client, number one thing that I look for is how people treat each other and work together. Whenever, like, even though someone can be so high performing, if they are just working and only care about their individual capacity, their own tasks, and that's it, they often get siloed from the rest of the team and they become really dysfunctional. So I always focus on like attitude, values, and how they interact with others first, because the worst thing or the worst experience I have is when you bring in like people that work for themselves and then they create a toxic or unfair team environment for other people. So teamwork is for sure is a big one. And then those people that are able to critically think about anything, challenge anything for the better, look for opportunities and take initiative. Too many people, I guess, sometimes just do as they're told or the bare minimum and don't challenge how things are. And then that way you just don't continuously improve or provide value to clients, but just, enter this operational tactical mode all the time. So that's another key thing that I look for is people that challenge the status quo, always critically thinking about what they're doing and how they can look for opportunities to improve and add value. Two
That's
big, really
key.
big things. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is right, especially in your sector, given what you're doing is like when you come to brainstorming sessions or coming
Mm.
up with new ways of doing things, you need people to be open. You need people to be honest. You need people to be not to have that ego because that out of like I don't know 10, 15, 20 ideas, only maybe one or two will get executed, right? And but you don't want people to feel bad about those ideas not getting picked, but you still want them to contribute and add value.
Yeah. I mean, what do you look for, Kazi, when you're bringing together a team?
They had to be like 21, and then it becomes
There it is.
no, like really, it's weird. When I look for people, when I say I would say more like block stars.
Mm,
When block stars looking for people, we look for people with like good character.
yeah,
Character is the biggest thing for us, because as you know, Ruthie, like, look, if you're in this space for 6 months, you pretty much become some kind of expert if you spend that time in the
yeah,
space among good people, right? For
yeah,
6 months, that's all it takes. And then everything gets renewed,
yeah,
constantly renewed. So like 6 months is pretty much you make them like really advanced. So from our side, we look at like, look, we can bring anyone in and put them among good team of developers, or good team of forensic crypto forensic team, or smart kind of audit teams, or whoever it is, wherever their passion lies. And then guess what, they pretty much learn that in like really with that good people they can upskill themselves. And we provide this training. We can, I mean, like when you say we, especially like YouTube love the tutor, you know
yeah,
people like, there's plenty of content there, and there's, and when you layer that with our knowledge in house, you can pretty much upskill anyone. So these days I think looking for skills is a such a short term view of any leader.
yeah,
You need some skills, and I always say, it's like, look, my baker bakes the best donuts, but I can't get them to come and write smart contracts, right? So you need somewhat like skills,
yeah,
but you can't fully completely base on skills, because nowadays people are just
Or passion.
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 Exactly,
Passion
passion
They
is
is
super
could have
important.
important.
passion for smart contracts
Yeah, and I knew
and enough time and
yeah,
skill.
and I knew a tradie who had a passion for smart contracts, and uh, right.
Match made in heaven.
That's it,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you can say something.
And I think for the short one on that
Hmm.
too, Cozzy, is like it's a lot easier to upskill someone than change someone's personality.
100%.
So if you get that good personality,
Yes.
you can, and they've got the passion, you can.
yeah,
It's just
100%.
time. It's just time and
Effort.
passion with them
Yeah.
learning effort.
Yeah,
But changing someone's personality is a lot harder,
Ah,
especially the
yeah,
older we
yeah,
yeah,
get.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think given that the youngsters now, who are like 21, it's you know they're growing. I mean, I'm saying
who
about
could that who could
Nathan.
that be? Who could that be?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Given they're like, like digital native right now, everyone's digital native, so
Mm,
it doesn't take, you can always find ways, like, like Nathan here, who's our, the whiz kid of
mm,
like
mm.
social. And what else you do, Nathan? You do all everything, there's nothing that you haven't touched in this, space, apart from
Events, video
events, video editing,
editing,
social media,
social media, even jumped into BA a couple
BA a
of
couple of
times,
times, right?
project management.
Yeah.
And
Right.
now he's developing smart contracts and doing everything with
Yeah, I mean, like,
USD.
look.
I did teach him how to make a mem coin. He was interested.
I think so with that, I think it's a lot easier to a lot of people, like, not being scared and jump in. I think that's
Yeah,
super important. Like, as you said,
Mm.
that's a big part, and being a team player,
100%.
you know.
Yeah.
So just, once you get those couple of things, I mean, like, pretty good. Anyone's with us is pretty good. So
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that the passion is a very important one. I mean, I've got this guy on my team. His name is Abdel, and he's one of the most passionate like people that I've seen. So passionate that he's going to get very, very emotionally invested in the clients that he works,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
doesn't hold that back. When we're on specific, internal team meetings or client
Yes.
meetings, when he's seeing something not right being done, or like specific directions that just don't align with what he thinks is right, he's going to slam his fist down because he's passionate. He's going to do his best to put the team or the client on the right track. And I think that's like one of the most important things that I definitely seek for as well, is people that are passionate and always passionate about doing the right things for the right reasons and pushing out the right good work that aligns with their passion for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I think that. Yeah, go ahead, John.
With that, we're coming up to we've hit the 1 hour mark. I just
Oh.
have a quick question for Ruthie.
Yeah.
We've been asking questions whole day, mate.
On a hot seat at the moment. Your boy's doing something.
I just wanted to know, Ruthie, like, what advice would you have for anyone just starting out, coming into the market now, or the next few months? Like, what advice would you give them if they wanted to build community, build a business in Web3,
Become a KOL.
become a KOL? That's a little bit hard, but yeah, that sort of area.
You know, I wish in my earlier stages someone told me this, which was to like when you're coming in, like with X, you want to find the right people as soon as possible to follow, right? Not the shillers or grifters, whatever, the KOLs, so that you start to really learn the nuances in the industry. But then the second one, which I think is even more important, is finding your home in Web3. I think finding your home, finding your tribe, is something that's really important. Without that, you're going to have a really hard time becoming familiar, assimilating the space, understanding the mechanics and how the space operates. And the home are the DAOs out there, the communities, some like Surgeons, some that might be growth marketing focused, some might be development focused, trading focused, whatever it is. But you need to find your home so that you can start to build out your Web3 network and your tribe that you can grow with as well. So, and it's so hard for people to do that once they're first entering the space. And I think that the creators have to do their job in like putting out information about, you know, the top hubs to go to start your development journey in Web3 and, you know, start your marketing journey or just start understanding the space more so that we can start to onboard more people that become sophisticated in the space for sure and start to teach people about the nuances and, you know, add value here as they wish, you know, build a company or help build a company. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, look, with in the Web2
And
the
learn
Web2 space.
Discord. Learn Discord.
Yeah. that's I got a question around that as well. Where, you know, in the Web2 space, right, developers like keep it quite introverted, and they keep like themselves. And once they see what's happening in the Web3 world, they say like, oh my god, it's a lot more outspoken. That kinds of put off some of the Web2 developers coming
Yeah.
into the Web3 world. And it's weird. I didn't think about it that much, but I only spoke to a couple of people like last week, over the last few days, and they're like, hey, I said like, no, look, this is like something really cool happening on this side of the world planet. Why don't you just check it out? It's like, oh no, I just, when I come there, all I hear is like all the tech jargon, like what the content they put in, like all that stuff, and I feel like it's just too much, and I feel like I need to prove every single day to be part of the community, Web3 community. And I'm like, I don't know. I did not see like that. And I feel like it's almost like it's kind of putting off these people, like almost scared to get into the Web3 world. And
Yeah.
when I say that, the source code is open, anyone can see their smart contract, they're like, ooh, that's like, you know what I mean? Ooh,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
can they,
I don't want
So,
people to see my code. No.
yeah, exactly. You can't BS anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's there's this thing in Web3 where like there's a lot of individuals that are contributing to the space, and it's a very noisy attention economy, and everyone feels like they have to be putting themselves out there, putting out content updates, no matter if you're a developer or marketer or whatever. But I mean, that being said, there's people that are thriving and just not saying a single thing on X or in Discord. Like I know like a couple of my friends that are working on a protocol called Zeta in Solana.
Yep.
They don't spend a single day on Discord or X. They're developers, like contributing, they're building contracts, like DeFi protocols, and having a lot of fun and like a great career, right? So I think like what we see in the X side, Discord side, that's like the very, I'd say community focused,
Yeah.
like participants. But then you have a lot of like company industry focused participants that are barely on X and Discord that are still in the Web3 space, right? That are maybe more on LinkedIn, it's more on Slack, more building products, not building image and like audience and awareness. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like,
But people, each to their own. People enjoy
yes.
that, and then people enjoy behind the scenes, just
Mm,
building as per usual, right?
yeah, yeah. So
But I
my
would
next
say
question
as a
is,
founder, it's very important to be open to that, like
I think so as
advocacy.
well. Yeah, because I think the Web 3 world is a little bit different from the Web 2 world. It's like people who are in the Web 3, they want to know what are the founders or what's happening.
Mm,
I think it's almost like an expectation that I want to know what's happening in your company. You know what I
mm,
mean?
mm.
And you can,
Weekly.
yeah, weekly, yeah, exactly. And I think and also I think it's the ability to um, get in contact with the CEO of the company,
Yeah,
CFO. You it's only one DM away, right? In the Web 2 world, like, okay, I had to go to
yeah.
the front line and the
Sales
PA,
navigator,
yeah,
100 outreaches, emails,
reach
calls.
exactly, and LinkedIn, and
Yeah,
email, LinkedIn, and all that, right? So I think that's the difference. I think that's what some people can't understand, like, oh my god, how can you contact these type of people just using a single DM. I think that's the beauty of Web 3. But I think I have a feeling that's going to
mm,
change. That's going to change soon, because people will start building those fences, ring fence themselves, because it's
yeah,
going to be so loud. And I think you'll only have such a small span of, like, maybe, I think, single digit years
yeah,
to get in touch with some key people in key companies, and build those relationships.
yeah, 100%. I feel as if there's this thing in Web3 where like there's a commitment to community. Like maybe in Web2 there's
Mm.
commitment to users, like other product users. But it seems like in Web3 a lot of founders feel this commitment to community, so commitment to like communication with them always, frequently, soliciting feedback, updating them, because it's a very fast-paced industry, and a lot of the people here are always, wanting more information, wanting to see updates. Also, it's very nascent, so like products are evolving so quickly, and all that. So yeah, so that's a
That's
key
crazy,
difference.
right?
Mm,
The rise and the fall of products is like, it's just crazy. I mean, like, look, I can only compare that in the real, like, Web 2 world is to movies, in like Bollywood movies, because that they do like few thousand movies per annum, but
yeah,
only maybe a handful of movies really make it to the box office, and all the thousands of movies doesn't even make it to the cinema. So I feel like Web 3 world, that many projects being created, being launched every single day, only a handful gets through, right? And we don't even, if you think about it, the Web 3 community is not that big.
no, it's not at all.
So, you know what I mean? It's almost like, okay, we need, each person need, four different NFT platforms, and five
Yeah,
different DeFi protocols, and, three different test nets. I don't know. I don't, I'm on test nets. So
12 different AIs.
10, 12 different AIs, and how, this so much hoarding accumulation. I think onboarding users, if you say like, oh, we got this new DeFi platform, we think like, oh, it's only another DeFi platform. But for some people, that's like maybe the fifth or the sixth DeFi platform that they need to farm. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I can't do that anymore, Charlie.
Kazi's Kazi's got like sticky notes for each platform. He's got a farm on his computer now. He can't even see the screen. It's just
No, no, can't.
Don't forget,
scrolls, EKCing this and that. Oh
Oh,
my god!
oh my God! I
don't
wish.
forget
I
those
only have
individual
10 minutes of work. I spend everything.
Did you say work? That is my work, farming. No,
Uh,
I wish.
don't forget those individual wallets with the sticky notes with all the seed phrases around.
yeah.
Just in case one of those ones, do drain the wallet.
Oh my God. No, seriously, like, sometimes I feel like, I just like start doing this couple of, thing, these platforms, and I'm just thinking like, looking at X and seeing what people are talking about. Okay, it's about Eigen layer, or this, or this platform, all these things, and the restaking, and I'm in tech, and sometimes I struggle with the ideas of, like, what this really mean. Like,
Mm.
rather than picking a word up and throwing the word around, like, oh, it's like restaking, and what that is, like, understanding, like a deep understanding of what that really means, that takes time. And you know what I mean? And I feel like Charlie, you said this before, like, people who are in crypto, you said this, like, I think, when we firstly we started, like, people who are in crypto understand finance better than people who are in finance in the real world.
Yeah.
What it
Yeah.
takes, and I think, and I had to say, like, I'm a lot more financially educated now, being in crypto. I
Yeah.
don't know, what is it
100%.
like for you, mate?
Yeah, I feel as if I would be able to say the same, but I think I spent so much time focusing on community building or like supporting our clients go to market and all that I don't spend enough time learning these days. So I've kind of retraced in terms of my knowledge about like the blockchain, all the protocols, use cases, and then finance in general. So I need to pick that up, Cosy. You need to give me personal tutoring.
I'm not the right person for that, Charlie.
I think the best. I
All
think
right,
the best.
Charlie, you're up. You got to teach me.
Yeah.
I think the best way to understand any of these new technologies and new things coming out is to just get in and play around a little bit. Like, don't put heaps of money into stuff, but get in, put it, if you're going to cover gas fees or whatever that may be, whatever that technology is, I play around with, try find somebody that's built a nice user interface, because I'm definitely not a coder, but I don't mind having to do it if I have to, and trial and error, because I'm on Windows, Cosy, so it doesn't like to play. But just getting in and pressing buttons, like, that's what I think the best way to learn. Like, jumping in, when Uniswap was new, jumping in and doing a $10 trade and being like, okay, what's this? And jump in, create liquidity pools. I guess I was blown away a lot in like 2020, 2021, with seeing how many people had figured out how to use a MetaMask wallet.
Yeah,
Like, before them, like, no one, like, MetaMask was unknown. It was like crypto exchanges and tradings.
that's it.
And then
Yeah,
that's
gosh.
one good thing that's like really come out of NFTs is everybody that interacted with OpenSea had to get a MetaMask and learn that self custody. And it's hard to begin with. And I always say, try find someone, a trusted friend, or maybe someone online, which is a bit hard to do. But just getting in and pushing buttons and playing around with stuff with minimal amounts of money to understand it. It's sort of like share trading. How do you get into share trading? They give you paper accounts, where you can go play around and trade, and it's fake money. Where unfortunately in crypto, like, there are test nets, but you're better off, $10 worth of Ethereum and just have a play around, or Polygon, and
All that. So, hey, before we finish out, last thing I want to touch base is like Surgeon's Discord, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Now,
thing.
like, how to say, like, Mia is like, I'm getting messages like, popping up like notifications. Like, I had to say, like, Mia is doing such a great job. I mean, like, I think I got about maybe 40 Discord servers, but the amount of notifications I'm getting from surgeons is it's unreal, and it's awesome, because it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, because there are some areas that I'm like, oh, I didn't know about this stuff, and there's like the pairing of people. So I'm just setting the scene, and I want you to take it on and tell people, if they want to become part of surgeons, how can they get involved, how from where should they start from, because surgeons is a deep rooted community, right? Someone coming into that Discord, they're like, oh wow, this is like a global empire, where should I start, because there's so many sub channels and things like that, right? um and I found it's a lot better, the Discord is better than like X, because there's a lot more community in there, right? And you guys run so many events and all that
That's
stuff,
right.
so I just want you to sort of give a rundown to anyone want to be part of surgeons. How can they get involved?
Yeah. So when we onboard members, like, there's different stages. The first one is the application, where we go through the application to see who would be a best fit. Because one of the most important things to us is preserving our values, like preserving the culture, and then the community experience within surgeons. And by nature of it, it's exclusive, it's tight knit, it's collaborative. So we can't just let everyone in. there's also that value of a professional mindset and like co-empowerment, co-building, etc. So we look for applications that align with that, bring them in, speak with them, and then activate them within the community. I mean, when people come in, they've got multiple things to indulge in, whether it be like weekly professional events, weekly product roadshows where they can learn a lot about different products and projects in the ecosystem. Like experts to come in and teach about their niche, right? To just collaborative group chats and events, like you said, the ride or die pairing, where people can match up with some random person and then do a networking session that week. So then everyone in the community can get to know each other. And actually, as a function of that, we also have the Surgeons community job board where people actually hire each other for the projects that they're working on. So we've seen a lot of Surgeons members getting connected and then hiring and putting people in jobs with them, and then allowing everyone to like explore, learn, generate income and add value in the industry, which is amazing. But then in Surgeons too, we have our fair share of helping people stay up to date with crypto broadly, like airdrops, coins. Even though I'm so out of depth, I haven't been up to date with it. I know that my team in the community up to date on that. And then we also have the job board, the Surgeons job board, where our clients and partners are able to funnel employment opportunities to our talent.
Yep. Oh, I think we're having a few technical issues. I think you're back.
No, we're back.
You're back.
Oh, we're back. Did you capture most of that, or?
I think we got the audio with your smiling face. So that's all good. Okay, now we got your smiling face, but no audio. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay.
I don't know why my Australian internet is giving up at the right at the end.
Are you
of the
farming?
podcast. It's,
Are you farming, mate? That's what happens.
No, I'm not farming anything, Brad. Oh no.
Oh, it's good. It's good. That's great. You know what I mean? I mean, like you guys are doing those, keeping the community live and engaged, which is fantastic. And I think that's the thing that a lot of other communities can really learn, seeing what Surgeons doing, and the what do you call, and the experts that you guys bring in as well, which is fantastic. And I learned immensely being part of those expert sessions, and it's pretty cool. I love the one that you guys did with the real world assets, which is fantastic. You know what I mean? I think that we are moving into that era, and having those people talk about it and bringing everyone, maybe not everyone will understand what a real world asset is, but being part of and hearing it, I think that only creates curiosity, which leads to, okay, I better look into what this really means. You know what I mean? And it was in a very safe place as well. Really broken down into basics and really explaining those things. So you guys are doing amazing, educating and also uplifting people in the ecosystem. So, my good job for Surgeons. Amazing.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to see what else we get up together.
100%.
The team. So looking
All
forward
good.
to the future. And I mean, look, if anyone is looking to get more into that, Web3 community side, project side, etc., always happy to connect with people too.
100%. So, if we had to send anyone, where should we send them? Apart from Ruthie Bill's Twitter, X account.
I would say Ruthie builds for an X account is a good one to start. Surgeons Discord is also one way. You can join the Surgeons Discord and then fill out an application there as well. But for those people that are just looking to learn more, I would say join the Surgeons Discord, because there's a public area and everyone outside, even if you don't fill out an application or just pending an application review, you can still join all the events and everything. So that's
right.
A good place to get started.
Yeah. Awesome. On that note, anything else, Charlie?
No, that's all from me. Thank you for coming along, Ruby. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, it was really good fun. I appreciate you boys a lot, and looking forward to the future for sure.
100%. I'll see you on X.
Yeah, see you on X, see you on Discord. See you on the airdrop. Yeah, airdrop.
I'll see you on the airdrop. I can't wait for the Surgeons airdrop.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be a great one. Might be 1 cent each, so we'll see.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Ruthie. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, catch ya.
See you, mate.
Thanks,
Catch ya.
man.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week, same place.
Subscribe.